Hey, welcome. Here we are, just the last week of 2025, about to go into 2026. I hope that this finds you good. I hope that you had a great Christmas, a fantastic Christmas. I hope that your Christmas was not just a chance to get the family together, but it was a chance to give thanks to God for His goodness. That, you know, what makes Christmas is the chance to be with the people who matter in your life, whether you traveled away or whether they came to you. I hope that this family time was a special time for you, because at the heart of Christmas, it is about relationships, about the birth of hope that's reconciled us with God and reconciles us with one another. And in the midst of the gift giving and the food, people is what it's about. So I hope you had a restful Christmas, a good Christmas. And here we are about to go into a new year. And if you are like most people, the chances are that you're going to make some resolutions. You want 2026 to be better than 2025. You want to put a line under some things from this year and go into the new year with a fresh slate, so that you can begin to write large, that you can step out of some disappointments, some frustrations into possibilities, into new things. Maybe you're going to set goals around weight. They may be around health. They may be around finances. Maybe it's around quiet times and growing your faith. Whatever it is, in order for whatever goals you set to come to pass, what happens is you need to recognize that for real change to happen, it needs to be about more than just wishes and resolutions. You need to understand and embrace the things that enable you to let go of whatever it is that you're wanting to change in order to take hold of the real thing that you want to see happen in your life. Because transformation doesn't just happen, it's a result of intentional processes. So as you go into New Year, as you begin to think about, what do I want 2026 to look like? Here's some things that I want to encourage you to think about. First of all, if you really want to be 2026 to be different from 2025, if you want to be different, and whatever part of your life that it is, you want to make some changes, the first thing is you need to let go of your past. You know, we all know the saying, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up that counts. And there's truth in that. Because what happens is that if we're not careful, what happens is, as good as our intentions may be, unless we let go of our past is going to come back and to draw us back down. It's going to pull us back from whatever it is that we're wanting to move into. You see, past failure is a good teacher, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. I like what Paul writes in Colossians. He says, Jesus has forgiven all our sins and cancelled every record of the debt we have to pay. He's cancelled everything. Christ has done away with our past by nailing it to the cross. And that means that we have to let it go. Because if we don't let it go, then what's happening is we're trying to hold on to the very thing that Jesus has set us free from. And what's going to happen is it's going to hold us back. And so just as He's nailed our sin to the cross so that we can be free from it, so that we can learn to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, become the new creation that He's set us free to be the moment we embraced Him, we also need to learn from this and say, hey, I need to leave my past behind me. I need to let go of the things that have held me back, the attitudes, the behaviours, the beliefs I have about myself, about others, the past failures, the past disappointments. I need to let go of those as well. You know, one of the most amazing verses in the Bible for me is Jeremiah 31:34, where God says, I'll remember their sins no more. I'll remember their sins no more. In other words, He's saying, as I've forgotten them, I'm going to forget these things. And that's good wisdom for us. We should let go of the things that God's forgiven us of. And then we need to forgive ourselves and let go of those things as well. Let go of your past failures. Let go of your past disappointments. Let go of the things from yesterday so that you can take hold of tomorrow. Don't let the past shape the way that you see yourself in the future. If you really want to change, if you really want to make lasting change in 2026, then you've got to start focusing on the future rather than on the past. Second thing is that you need to be clear of your goals. You see, if you don't know where you want to go, if you don't know who you want to become, how are you going to know when you get there? How are you going to know that God is transforming you, that God is changing you? And in Proverbs 17, verse 24, we read, an intelligent person aims at wise actions, but a fool starts off in many directions. You know, key word here is aim. It means they have a goal, they have a target, they have a focus. This is the object of where their thought processes are, of everything about them. And that means that if you really want to change, if you really want to become what you're not now, if you really want to overcome something, you don't just let go of what was. You set a goal to move into what it looks like to be successful in that area of your life. Whether it be your quiet time, whether it be a relational goal, whether it be a health goal, whether it be a financial goal, you set your focus on that and you plan to it. You be clear about the goal. That means you have a target. There's an objective that you are aiming for. And when you set that goal, be specific. You know, what's your goal? You know, what is the goal that you have? And why do you have it? Because that why is going to become the motivation in the hard times. Why is it that you want to become like this? Why are you doing what you do? And in the midst of the drudgery and sometimes where you feel like you're not making much progress, that's going to help you overcome that and move forward into the type of person you want to be, or the goal, whatever that area of change is that you've established for your life. And then write it down so that you keep coming back to it. You know, I have a goal. Some of you are aware that over the last 12 months, I've been going to the gym and been focusing on a couple of key areas because I have a goal to be able to lift more than anyone else in my category for my age. I'm in a Masters 3 category, 105 kgs, and there's a record, a bench press record for people my age, my weight range, and I want it. You know, I've lifted it in the gym. I want it. That's my goal. And in the hard yards, when it was cold early mornings, when I just wanted to crash my diet and just enjoy stuff for a while, I pulled out the record there. I pulled out the when it was, or who's got it, what they've lifted, just to remind me what my goal is. And it doesn't matter what your goal is. Write it down and be specific. And why do you want it? Because that will motivate you in the year ahead as you seek to put the past behind you and become who God is calling you to be, or achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And the next thing is you have to take control of your life. You have to take control. It requires discipline to make change. Transformation in whatever area of your life, it doesn't just happen. It's the result of intentional steps. And that means that you have to take control. You have to be deliberate about what you do and what you don't do. It's so easy to become distracted. It's so easy to yield to temptation and think, oh, well, it doesn't matter. But you know what happens is one temptation becomes another, and suddenly that one square of chocolate becomes a whole block of chocolate over a period of time, and that weight goal is now being undermined. Oh, well, it's just one time I'm not going to go to the gym. Oh, well, and suddenly that one day becomes 2 days, and that goal becomes undermined. Oh, it's just, I'm just not going to read the Bible today. I've just too busy, and that day becomes 2 days, it becomes 3 days, and suddenly you're disconnecting from building that type of intimacy with God that you set out to achieve. You've got to learn to take control of your life. In Hebrews chapter 12, we're reminded that because we're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, people who have run their race before us, people who have disciplined themselves and have come to the end of what God had for them. Therefore, because we're surrounded by these people, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men, so that you will never grow weary and lose heart. You know, here the writer of Hebrews is saying, hey, in order to live the life that God's called you to when it comes to living our faith, living with hope, living on behalf of others, we're going to encounter setback, we're going to encounter opposition, we're going to encounter discouragement, and we need to be disciplined. We need to take control of our life and not give in to the temptation to be distracted, to yield ourselves to the temptations, to live the way other people are living, to lose focus of God's plans and purposes for our life. And our model should be Jesus, who remains steadfast. This is what I've come to do. This is what I need to do, and this is what will happen when I do it. And that should be our model. That Jesus endured all sorts of things for our sake and for our salvation. In the same way, when it comes to our practical life, whether you're setting goals to do with faith or whether they be in some other area of your life, you need to take control. You need to be disciplined. You need to recognize that there are things that are going to work against the goals that you've set. And unless you are intentional, unless you take control, these things will undermine and rob you of what it is that you've set your heart on. Whether it be an area of faith or whether it be some other area, you need to take the example that we saw in Hebrews and apply it to that area of your life as well, so that you don't end up falling out of the race, so to speak. And lastly, as a consequence, you need to lean into God and not yourself. You see, when it comes to transformation, when it comes to change, whether it be a spiritual change, a character change, a change that's motivated by faith or in some area of your life, you know, what happens is that it's very easy to give in to the insecurities that surround us, to begin to doubt our abilities, to begin to think, wow, what was I thinking? Who am I to achieve that? Why did I think my life could be different? We've got to learn to not give in to those by thinking it's about us and about our effort. We've got to learn to lean into God instead. Yeah, we have to do our part, but we're in partnership with God. We build our faith by trusting in God. We build our faith by learning to lean into Him and not ourselves. And we can take that principle and apply it to other areas of our life. We begin to lean into God when we feel that, what's the point? Why am I trying to do this? Why bother? And we begin to lean into God because He's called us, because He's given us desires in our heart. And we begin to lean into Him. God, you need to help me. God, help me just overcome this frustration, this disappointment, whatever it is that's seeking to hold you back. You know, I love what it says in Proverbs chapter 12. An anxious heart weighs a person down. When we give in to or yield ourselves to those sort of thoughts that say you're not good enough, or what's the point, or anything like that, then they begin to weigh us down. But when we lean into God, I know I'm struggling right now, but I know that with your help I can overcome. I know that with your help I can achieve. I know that if you help me, I will be able to. And then what happens is we begin trusting in Him again. And then we are able to pick ourselves up and move into whatever it is that we are seeking to transform in our life. Because it's no longer about us, it's about God working in us and us partnering with Him to achieve whatever it is that we want to change. And so as we go into a new year and you set goals, understand the process of change. Because if you understand the process of change, of transformation, then whatever the goals you set for yourself, and I hope that you set some faith goals, some personal goals, some relational goals, then as you do that, then God is going to begin to enable you to let go of the past and become who you desire to be, because you are a reflection of how He made you. You are a reflection of His will. You are a reflection of the plans He has for you. And those plans are to prosper you, to build you up, to give you a hope and a future. So as you make plans and then you begin to take steps into them, don't give up. Trust God and lean into Him and see what happens. So, hey, that's my encouragement for you today. So over summer, have a relaxing time. Look forward to catching you in person in a few weeks' time. Until then, God bless.